This is the harshest survival battlefield in Europe. One single slip can send you vanishing into an abyss hundreds of feet deep. But in a place that seems devoid of life, the predators still rule supreme. The golden eagle commands the skies. The Eurasian lynx lurks in the shadows, and a ferocious beast once extinct for nearly a century has returned. Who is the ultimate predator of the Alps? The answer lies at the end of this video. Do not miss a single second. Welcome to Alps, Europe's frozen survival machine. The Alps are the largest and most majestic mountain range in Europe, stretching across 8 countries, but they are most famous and beautiful in Switzerland. More than 60% of Switzerland's area is covered by the Alps, creating the country's iconic, snowy mountain landscapes. This region is home to many of Europe's most renowned high peaks, such as the Matterhorn at 14,692 feet, Mont Blanc at 15,781 feet, and the Jungfrau at 13,642 feet. The Swiss Alps also contain nearly half of all the mountains over 13,123 feet in the entire continent of Europe. This mountain range was formed around 65 million years ago, when 2 gigantic tectonic plates, the Eurasian and African plates, collided. That collision pushed the Earth upward, creating these enormous mountains that are still changing little by little, even today. The Alps are also known as Europe's freshwater reservoir. Massive glaciers such as the Lynx glacier store enormous amounts of water that melts gradually, feeding major European rivers, including the Rhine River, the Rhone River, the Po River, and the Danube River. Beyond their majestic beauty, the Alps play an extremely important role for Europe, regulating climate, supplying water, preserving ecosystems, and serving as one of the world's largest tourism centers. Below the snow-covered peaks of the Alps lies a completely different world, the deep, freezing subalpine forests. This is the forest zone at elevations of roughly 4,900 to 8,200 feet, where winter lasts for months, with thick snow blanketing the ground. The landscape here is formed by towering pine, fir, and spruce forests, growing densely on steep mountain slopes. Sunlight struggles to penetrate the thick canopy, giving the forest a constant feeling of gloom, mystery, and silence. Yet behind that peaceful appearance is a harsh survival battlefield. Food is scarce in winter. Temperatures can drop to dozens of degrees below zero, and every creature must adapt to survive in the ice and frost. This is also home to some of the most fearsome predators in the Alps, such as the gray wolf and the Eurasian lynx. Meanwhile, red deer and roe deer must remain constantly alert against silent hunts deep in the forest. The subalpine forest is not merely a buffer zone between the meadows and the high mountains. It is the wild heart of the Alps, the place where life operates under the most primal law of survival. Let us explore the first creature here, the Eurasian lynx. The Eurasian lynx is the largest wild cat in Europe. An adult can weigh up to 66 pounds, measure more than 3 feet 3 inches in body length, and stand about hip-high to an adult human. They possess long legs and wide paws like snowshoes, allowing them to move easily across deep snow and steep alpine slopes. The most striking features of the lynx are its pointed ears with long black tufts on top, thick whiskers, and cold golden eyes that always watch from the shadows. Their thick gray-brown fur, covered in black spots, allows them to almost disappear among the pine forests, mountain rocks, and bushes. In winter, this coat becomes even thicker to withstand the harsh cold. The Eurasian lynx is built for high mountain life. They see clearly in low light, can hear the faintest sounds, and are extremely agile climbers. Their powerful hind legs allow them to leap up to 20 feet in a single bound. They can live in areas above 8,200 feet in the Alps, where winter temperatures often drop below -4 degrees Fahrenheit. In 1971, a reintroduction program began by releasing 20 to 30 individuals from the Carpathian Mountains into the forests of Swiss cantons. After more than 50 years, the Swiss lynx population is now estimated at around 150 to 200 adults, concentrated mainly in the northeastern and central Alps. This is the result of close cooperation among conservation organizations, cantonal authorities, and local communities. The Eurasian lynx is one of the most dangerous ambush predators in the alpine forests. Unlike wolves that hunt in packs and pursue over long distances, lynx hunt with absolute silence. They melt into the shadows, using their camouflaged fur to approach prey at very close range before launching a sudden attack. A powerful bite to the neck or windpipe is usually enough to bring down prey in just a few seconds. Their main prey in the Alps are roe deer, chamois, hares, and occasionally large birds. An adult lynx typically needs about 2 to 4 pounds of meat per day. But after a successful hunt, they can eat much more and then hide the remainder under snow or dry leaves to return to later over the next few days. Lynx are solitary and extremely secretive. Most of the time, each individual lives and hunts alone within its own territory, spanning dozens to hundreds of square miles. They only come together during the breeding season, which usually occurs from late winter to early spring. After about 2 months of pregnancy, females typically give birth to 1 to 4 kittens in a rock den or tree hollow. The young stay with their mother for nearly a year to learn how to hunt and survive in the Alpine forests before venturing out on their own. As an apex predator in the alpine forests, the lynx plays a key role in maintaining ecological balance. They help control populations of deer and mountain goats, preventing overgrazing that would degrade forests and plant diversity. The presence of lynx also indirectly supports many other species by altering the movement and foraging behavior of prey. Beyond being an apex predator, the lynx is considered an umbrella species of the Alps. This means that protecting lynx also protects ancient forests, water sources, and countless other living creatures within the same ecosystem. For the Swiss, the lynx is not just an animal, but a symbol of wilderness returning. Many lynx-watching ecotourism projects have been developed, helping raise community awareness. In European culture, lynx have appeared in many legends and folktales as symbols of mystery and silent strength. From a scientific perspective, studying alpine lynx helps ecologists better understand the process of ecosystem recovery after the return of apex predators. as well as the impact of climate change on high mountain food chains. With strong conservation efforts, the future of the Eurasian lynx in Switzerland is brighter than ever. Many experts predict the population could reach 300 to 400 individuals by 2035 if support continues. Connecting ecological corridors between alpine forests will be the decisive factor for this species to truly return and thrive long-term. While the Eurasian lynx quietly dominates the deep forests with its ambush skills and secrecy, another hunter is also dramatically reclaiming its place in the Alps, the gray wolf. The gray wolf is continuing the dramatic comeback story of large predators in the Alps. Their return has quickly become one of the most controversial issues in nature conservation in Switzerland. The gray wolf is the largest wild dog still existing in Europe. An adult typically weighs between 66 and 110 pounds, with a muscular build, long legs, and extremely powerful jaws. Their thick fur comes in various colors: gray, brown, black, or pale yellow, helping them stay warm in freezing winters and camouflage effectively in the Alpine mountains. Contrary to the fierce image often seen in legends, gray wolves are actually highly intelligent and highly social animals. They live in packs with tight structure, coordinating in hunting, territory defense, and caring for young. Gray wolves were hunted to near extinction in the Alps by the late 19th and early 20th centuries, due to conflicts with livestock and human fear. But in the 1990s, when Italy began strict protection programs, wolf populations in the Western Alps gradually recovered. From there, the first packs began naturally moving across mountains and forests to return to Switzerland without any human reintroduction. Around 1995 to 1996, the first wolves were recorded returning to Switzerland after more than 150 years of absence. Today, the number of wolves in Switzerland has grown to several hundred individuals, concentrated mainly in mountainous regions such as Graubünden, Valais, and Ticino. This return demonstrates the astonishing survival ability of wolves. Despite crossing roads, residential areas, and treacherous mountains, they have managed to expand their territory and reclaim forests where their ancestors disappeared more than a century ago. Gray wolves have one of the most complex social organizations among animal predators. They live in packs with high coordination and discipline. A wolf pack in the Alps usually consists of 5 to 10 individuals, sometimes more when food is abundant. Each pack is usually led by a primary breeding pair, the alpha male and female. They are not only strong but also the most experienced individuals, responsible for leading hunts, defending territory, and caring for the young. Pack members are always tightly bonded. They communicate through howls, ear and tail movements, eye contact, and scent. Howls echoing through the alpine forests serve not only to call packmates, but also to mark territory and warn other packs to stay away. Unlike the solitary lynx, wolves are group hunters. This coordination makes them extremely dangerous predators. One of the most common tactics is long-distance pursuit. The entire pack will follow prey through deep forests and steep slopes until the animal is exhausted. They are particularly effective when hunting roe deer, red deer, or chamois. The success rate of wolf hunts is often not high, so they must be very patient and energy efficient. When food is scarce in winter, wolves are also willing to eat carcasses or hunt smaller prey to survive. The wolf breeding season usually occurs in late winter. After about 2 months of pregnancy, females give birth to 4 to 6 pups in rock dens or secluded shelters. The entire pack helps care for and protect the young. Wolf pups begin learning to hunt from a very early age by observing and following the pack through the forests and valleys of the Alps. The return of the gray wolf is changing the Alpine ecosystem in many positive ways. As an apex predator, wolves help control populations of herbivores, such as roe deer, red deer, and chamois. This gives young forests and vegetation a chance to recover instead of being overgrazed. Scientists have also observed that when wolves are present, herbivores become more alert and frequently change feeding areas. This allows many forest areas time to regenerate naturally, thereby supporting the recovery of biodiversity in the Alps. However, the return of wolves has also sparked major controversy in Switzerland. Conservation organizations and many scientists see this as a sign that the alpine wilderness is recovering healthily after hundreds of years of ecological imbalance. Wolves have also become a new symbol for ecotourism and wildlife conservation. On the other hand, many sheep and goat farmers in the mountains view wolves as a major threat. Every year, livestock are still attacked by wolves, causing economic losses even though the government has compensation programs. Some residents are also concerned about safety when wolves appear near residential areas or hiking trails. However, wolf attacks on humans in Europe today are extremely rare. Currently, Switzerland applies a flexible management policy for wolves. In certain special cases where a pack causes significant damage to livestock, authorities may permit control or removal of some individuals. But every such decision creates intense debate between conservation groups and farming communities. The gray wolf faces an uncertain future in Switzerland. If managed wisely and with consensus between conservation and livestock farming, wolves can build a stable, long-term population and continue helping restore the natural ecosystem of the Alps. But if conflicts between humans and wolves become increasingly tense, especially from the mountain livestock industry, this recovery process could slow down or even reverse. Today, the gray wolf is not just a wild predator. It has become a symbol of the great question of the 21st century. How far can humans coexist with wild nature? While the gray wolf and Eurasian lynx gradually assert their status as apex predators, their return also highlights the important role of 2 main prey species, the red deer and roe deer, those herbivores that sustain and balance the alpine forest ecosystem. The red deer is the largest deer species in Europe. An adult male can weigh more than 440 pounds, stand over 3 feet 3 inches tall at the shoulder, and possess a large, powerful set of antlers with many long tines. Females are significantly smaller and do not have antlers. In the Swiss Alps, red deer have adapted very well to the cold, high mountain environment. In winter, they grow thicker coats for warmth and often move in large herds to increase predator detection. Red deer have a varied diet that includes grass, leaves, young shoots, tree bark, and sometimes mushrooms. They spend most of their time foraging on mountain meadows or at the edges of subalpine forests. Every autumn, the alpine valleys echo with the loud roars of male deer during the mating season. These deep, far-carrying sounds are used to challenge rivals and attract females, creating one of the most characteristic wild scenes of the Alps. Today, the red deer population in Switzerland is quite stable thanks to conservation programs and regulated hunting. They are also an important food source for gray wolves, especially for larger packs that need abundant food to survive the winter. Roe deer are much smaller than red deer and are among the most common hoofed mammals in the Alps. An adult usually weighs only 33 to 77 pounds, with a compact body, slender long legs, and extremely agile movement. In summer, their coat is reddish-brown, but in winter it turns gray-brown to retain heat and camouflage better in the forest. Males have small antlers with a few short tines, much simpler than those of red deer. Unlike red deer that often live in large herds, roe deer mainly live alone or in very small groups. They are most active at dawn and dusk, when dim light helps them avoid predators more effectively. Roe deer are particularly skilled at weaving through forests. They can change direction extremely quickly and leap repeatedly to escape, a vital skill when ambushed by a Eurasian lynx. Their preferred habitat is open forests, forest edges, and areas with low bushes mixed with meadows. They mainly eat young leaves, tree buds, wild berries, and forest mushrooms rather than grass. Due to their moderate size and often solitary lifestyle, roe deer are ideal prey for the Eurasian lynx. A successful hunt can provide food for a lynx for many days during the freezing Alpine winter. Red deer and roe deer play a very important role in the Alpine ecosystem. With their large numbers and good adaptability, they are the central link connecting plants to large predators. As the main herbivores of the Alps, they help control the growth of shrubs, grass, and many types of forest vegetation. In the process of moving and foraging, they also contribute to seed dispersal through droppings and fur, supporting the natural regeneration of mountain forests. More importantly, red deer and roe deer are the primary food source for predators such as the gray wolf and Eurasian lynx. Without these prey species, populations of large predators in the Alps would struggle to survive stably. Beyond nature, they also hold great value for humans through legally regulated hunting and wildlife watching tourism. However, in some areas of the Alps, red deer and roe deer numbers are increasing too rapidly. When populations become too dense, they overconsume young shoots and tree bark, making young forests slow to recover. This is particularly concerning in the context of climate change, which is making the alpine ecosystem more fragile and slowing forest regeneration significantly. From the herds of red deer and roe deer hiding among the forests and mountain slopes, the ecological picture of the Alps gradually opens into a broader, more vibrant space. The high alpine meadows, where color and the most intense life of the high mountains converge. Located at elevations of roughly 4,900 to nearly 9,800 feet, the high alpine meadows are among the most famous and beautiful landscapes in the Alps. The Swiss call these fields Alpwiesen, mountain meadows covered with wildflowers between snow-capped peaks. Each year, when the short summer begins from around June to September, the entire mountain region awakens after the long winter. Hundreds of wildflower species bloom simultaneously, covering the slopes in every color. There is the deep purple of gentian, the bright gold of arnica, the pale pink of rhododendron, and the characteristic white of edelweiss, the flower considered a symbol of Switzerland. From afar, these meadows look like a giant carpet spread between the sky and rocky mountains. But behind that beauty is an extremely important ecosystem for the entire Alps. The alpine meadows are home to many insects, butterflies, birds, and small animals. They are also an important summer food source for cattle, sheep, and goats in the long-standing mountain pastoral tradition. When autumn arrives, the meadows gradually turn golden and reddish-brown before being covered by winter snow. For many cold months, the entire ecosystem almost enters a state of hibernation, waiting for spring to return. The high alpine meadows are not just a famous scenic beauty of Europe. They are the soul of the Alps, the place where nature, climate, and human life have been intertwined for thousands of years. let's admire the adorable charm of the mountain hare. One of the true masters of camouflage in the Alps, the most remarkable feature of this species is its extraordinary ability to change coat color with the seasons, allowing it to blend perfectly into its surroundings. In summer, their fur is brownish-gray to hide among mountain rocks and grass. But when winter comes, the coat gradually turns almost completely white, allowing them to disappear against the snow. In many individuals, the tips of the ears remain characteristically black. Mountain hares have compact bodies and much shorter ears than other hare species to limit heat loss in freezing environments. Their strong hind legs and furry feet help them run fast and move easily on soft snow. They usually live at elevations from around 3,300 to more than 9,800 feet, hiding under low bushes, rock crevices, or natural snow pockets. Mountain hares are most active at twilight and nighttime to avoid predators. Their diet is simple, but suited to the harsh, high mountain environment. Mountain grass, tree buds, bark, and lichens, rare food sources that still exist throughout the Alpine winter. The Alpine marmot is one of the most recognizable and endearing animals of the Alpine mountains. It is the largest rodent in Europe, with a round, plump body and thick fur that helps retain warmth in high mountain regions. They are famous for their very loud whistle, used to warn of danger. When they spot a predator such as a golden eagle or fox, one marmot will stand upright on its hind legs and emit a far-carrying whistle to alert the whole colony to run into their burrows. Alpine marmots live in family groups on high mountain meadows at elevations of around 4,900 to 9,200 feet. They dig very complex burrow systems underground for living and shelter from the cold. One of the most astonishing abilities of this species is extremely deep hibernation for many months. In winter, their heart rate and body temperature drop sharply to conserve energy when food almost completely disappears. When the short summer returns, Alpine marmots continuously eat grass, flowers, and many types of plants to build up fat reserves for the next winter. While the high alpine meadows burst with colorful flowers every summer, on the sheer cliffs and most treacherous peaks of the Alps, there are still animals capable of surviving in a world that is almost impossible to live in. The Alpine ibex is one of the most famous symbols of the Alps. The most striking feature is the enormous curved horns of the males, which can reach nearly 3 feet 3 inches in length and weigh more than 22 pounds. The large ridges on the horns indicate the age of each individual. The Alpine ibex is considered the master mountaineer of Europe. They can move across extremely steep and dangerous cliffs, places where almost no other animal can stand firm. Their bodies are strong and robust. Adult males typically weigh between 154 and 265 pounds, while females are significantly smaller. Their coat is brown in summer and becomes thicker and darker in winter to retain warmth in the freezing temperatures of the high mountains. Alpine ibex usually live at elevations from around 5,900 to more than 9,800 feet. They have specialized hooves with soft pads that provide excellent grip, helping them maintain balance on slippery rocks, ice, snow, and narrow mountain ledges. In the late 19th century, this species was nearly extinct due to excessive hunting. At one point, only about 100 individuals survived in the Gran Paradiso National Park. Thanks to successful conservation and reintroduction programs, the Alpine ibex population in Switzerland has now recovered strongly. They mainly eat mountain grass, shrubs, moss, and lichens, rare food sources that can survive in the harsh, high elevations of the Alps. chamois is one of the most agile animals in the Alps. While the Alpine ibex is famous for its climbing ability on cliffs, the chamois excels in speed and flexibility on treacherous terrain. They have a lightweight build, typically weighing between 55 and 110 pounds, with strong legs that allow them to move extremely fast across mountain rocks, steep slopes, and rugged cliffs. Chamois can run at high speeds and leap many feet in a single bound. Their coat changes with the seasons, reddish-brown in summer and turning to a deep, almost blackish-brown in winter to retain heat better. The most recognizable feature is the white face with two black stripes running through the eyes like a mask, along with short, slightly curved horns pointing backward in both males and females. Chamois usually live in small herds and remain in a state of high alertness. At the slightest sign of danger, the entire herd can instantly bolt up nearly vertical cliffs that many predators cannot follow. Their main food consists of mountain grass, shrub leaves, and young shoots. Thanks to their superior mobility, chamois can live in extremely dangerous areas of the Alps, places where even the gray wolf or Eurasian lynx have difficulty chasing them. The golden eagle is considered the lord of the skies of the Alps. It is the largest and most powerful bird of prey in this mountain region, with a wingspan that can exceed 6 feet 6 inches. They typically nest on high, dangerous cliffs, but their hunting range extends across mountain forests, alpine meadows, and even near snow and ice fields. The golden eagle is an extremely dangerous hunter. Their diet includes young chamois, mountain hares, alpine marmots, and many other mountain birds. They can dive at very high speeds to attack prey with their powerful talons. Golden eagles usually live in pairs and tend to form long-term bonds. The young are taught hunting skills by their parents for many months before becoming independent. Today, the golden eagle population in Switzerland has recovered to a fairly stable level after years of strict protection. The rock ptarmigan is one of the bird species best adapted to the freezing climate of the high Alps. Its most special feature is the ability to change feather color with the seasons for camouflage. In summer, the plumage is brownish-gray like mountain rocks and dry earth. But in winter, the feathers turn almost completely white to blend in with the snow. Thanks to this camouflage, rock ptarmigans can avoid many predators such as the golden eagle and foxes. They usually live at high elevations, near high mountain meadows and the edges of permanent snow. Their main food includes low buds, moss, lichens, and seeds. In winter, rock ptarmigans can even dig holes in the snow for shelter and to retain heat during the extreme cold of the Alps. Towering cliffs and high meadows covered in wildflowers, the Alps gradually descend in elevation, revealing an entirely different landscape. Lush green valleys and shimmering lakes, where raw grandeur gives way to a gentler, richer, and more peaceful beauty. Leaving the snow-covered peaks and treacherous cliffs of the Alps, the scenery gradually shifts to lush green valleys and crystal-clear lakes. This is the gentlest part of Switzerland, where the wild beauty of the high mountains blends with human life. The Alpine valleys were formed by glacial activity thousands of years ago. As the ice melted, it left behind fertile soil and small plains nestled between the mountain ranges. This made the area ideal for forests, meadows, agriculture, and traditional Swiss villages. In summer, the valleys are covered in lush green grass and forests, accompanied by the echoing sound of cowbells across the slopes. In autumn, the entire area turns to vibrant gold and red foliage, creating one of Europe's most famous landscapes. The the most special feature of the lower Alps is its world-famous lake system. Switzerland has thousands of lakes, large and small, most of which were created by ancient glaciers. Among them, the most famous is Lake Geneva, the largest lake in Western Europe, with its characteristic emerald color lying between the Alps and the Jura Mountains. Lake Lucerne stands out with its winding shape between high mountain ranges and historic lakeside towns. There are also Lake Zurich, Lake Thun, and Lake Brienz, each with its own unique color and beauty. These lakes are not only beautiful, but also extremely important for the ecosystem and people. They store fresh water, regulate local climate, supply drinking water, and support hydroelectric power generation in Switzerland. The water in many lakes is so clear that visibility can reach dozens of feet. The lakeside and valley areas are also home to many species of fish, water birds, and wild animals. At the same time, they serve as natural corridors that allow many animals to move between high mountains and lowlands according to the seasons. Most of Switzerland's famous cities, such as Zurich, Geneva, Lucerne, and Interlaken, are located near lakes or within the Alpine valleys. This is where nature and modern life coexist in a particularly rare way. However, the Alpine valleys and lakes are currently under significant pressure from urbanization, tourism, and climate change. Rising water temperatures, changing ecosystems, and human development are gradually affecting the fragile balance of this region. Nevertheless, with calm lake surfaces reflecting snow-capped mountains and small villages nestled on the slopes, the valleys and lakes are still considered one of the most beautiful images of the Alps, where the power of nature meets the peacefulness of life. From the calm waters of the Alpine lakes, reflecting the snow-capped peaks, a graceful white figure gently glides across the crystal-clear surface. That is the mute swan, a bird that embodies both peaceful and proud beauty, having become a familiar sight on Switzerland's famous lakes. Although called the mute swan, this bird is not completely silent. They simply vocalize less than other swan species. Most of the sounds they make are soft hisses, grunts, or very loud wing beats when flying over the lake. These sounds can carry quite far across the quiet Alpine valleys. The mute swan is a very large water bird. An adult can measure more than 4 feet 9 inches in length, with a wingspan exceeding 6 feet 6 inches and weighing more than 22 pounds. This makes them one of the heaviest flying birds in the world. The most recognizable features are their pure white plumage, bright orange bill, and large black knob at the base of the bill. The young are pale gray when born and take nearly a year to gradually turn completely white. This species is famous for forming very strong pair bonds. A pair of swans usually stays together for many years, sometimes for life. During the breeding season, they fiercely defend their territory and may attack anything that comes too close to the nest or cygnets, including humans. In spring, swans begin building nests with reeds, dry grass, and feathers along the lake shores or on quiet small islands. Females typically lay 5 to 8 eggs, and both parents take turns protecting the nest. After hatching, the cygnets can enter the water and swim almost immediately. However, they are still cared for by their parents for many months. The young often swim behind their parents in a line or sometimes climb onto their parents' backs to rest, a very famous image on Swiss lakes. Mute swans mainly eat aquatic plants such as watergrass, roots, and underwater weeds. Their long necks allow them to reach deep into the water to find food. An adult can consume several pounds of plants per day. Although not a typical long-distance migrant, many individuals still move to lower, warmer lakes in winter when the water surfaces in the high Alps begin to freeze. The mute swan has long been a symbol of beauty and elegance in European culture. Images of swans appear in many stories, paintings, music, and famous fairy tales such as The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. In Switzerland and many other European countries, swans are often associated with enduring love, loyalty, and refined beauty. The sight of swan pairs swimming on Alpine lakes has become a familiar part of the Swiss landscape and tourism. Today, the mute swan population in Switzerland is relatively stable and well protected. They are an important part of the lake ecosystem and contribute to the characteristic beauty of the Alpine valleys. However, in some parts of Europe, overly large swan populations can sometimes put pressure on other water birds due to competition for food and space. Nevertheless, with their graceful appearance and peaceful presence on the lake, the mute swan is still regarded as the soul of Switzerland's lakes, a symbol of the gentle and poetic side of the majestic Alps. The mallard is the most common wild duck in the world and is also the ancestor of most domestic duck breeds today. Thanks to its excellent adaptability, it appears almost everywhere in Switzerland, from lakes and rivers to valleys and lakeside parks in the Alps. The most striking feature of the mallard is the clear difference between males and females. Males are easily recognized by their iridescent green head, white neck ring, chestnut-brown chest, and pale gray body. The tail has a few distinctive curled feathers. Females have a much plainer mottled brown plumage. This helps them camouflage well when nesting and incubating eggs near the lake shore or among grasses. Mallards are medium-sized, measuring about 1 foot 8 inches in length and weighing around 2 pounds. Both males and females have a flat yellow or orange bill, well suited for foraging in water. As omnivores, their diet includes watergrass, seeds, algae, insects, worms, small snails, and many other aquatic creatures. When feeding, they often tip their heads underwater and stick their tails up to forage in shallow areas, rather than diving deeply like many other ducks. Their breeding season usually runs from spring to early summer. Females build fairly simple nests near the lakeshore or in grass, sometimes in tree hollows. They line the nest with dry grass and their own feathers for warmth. Each clutch typically contains 8 to 12 eggs. The female incubates them alone for nearly a month. After hatching, the ducklings can enter the water and forage almost immediately, but they still swim close to their mother for the first few weeks for protection from predators. In Switzerland, some mallard flocks remain year-round on the lakes. However, in winter, many individuals from northern and eastern Europe migrate to the milder Alpine lakes, significantly increasing the duck population. Mallards have a more diverse communication system than many people think. They use calls, body postures, and special movements to communicate, warn of danger, care for young, and find mates. Outside the breeding season, mallards often live in fairly large flocks on lakes and wetlands. Within the flock, they use many body gestures to express their state and maintain distance from one another. To threaten or show dominance, ducks often raise their necks high, spread their wings, or rush quickly across the water. Weaker individuals usually lower their heads and avoid direct confrontation. Behaviors such as swimming close together, gentle bill touching, or resting near one another help maintain flock cohesion. When flying in groups or moving to roosting sites, mallards continuously make calls to stay in contact. This helps the flock maintain formation and avoid separation, especially in bad weather or low light. These communication behaviors show that mallards are not just common lakeside birds. They also have a fairly developed social life that helps them adapt effectively to many different environments in the Alps. Mallards play a fairly important role in the lake and valley ecosystems of the Alps. As omnivores, They help control some insects, algae, and aquatic plants in the lakes. They are also a natural food source for many predators such as foxes, birds of prey, and some carnivores living near the lakes. Scientists also view the mallard as an environmental indicator species. This means their population and health can reflect water quality and the stability of the lake ecosystem. In Switzerland, mallards are very familiar birds to people. With their approachable and friendly appearance, they are also one of the most beloved birds among tourists. However, feeding ducks bread too often is not good for them and can pollute the water. Therefore, in many places, authorities encourage visitors to limit feeding or use more appropriate food. At elevations above approximately 9,200 to 9,800 feet, the Alps enter their coldest and harshest realm, a world of ice, snow, and bare rock with almost no trace of humans. This is where Europe's highest peaks rise into the clouds, and life exists only in its most resilient forms. This zone is typically divided into two main parts: the perpetual snow zone, where snow remains almost year-round, and vegetation is extremely scarce, mostly moss, lichens, and a few small plants highly resistant to cold; and the glacier zone, where massive blocks of ice accumulated over thousands of years slowly move downslope like enormous rivers of ice. The most famous symbol of this region is the Alpine glacier, the largest glacier in the Alps, stretching more than 12 miles long. Seen from above, it resembles a gigantic white river, winding between snow-covered rocky ranges. The landscape here is both breathtaking and brutal: sheer cliffs covered in ice and snow, deep blue crevasses in the ice blocks, powerful winds, and vast white expanses create a feeling of stepping into another world. This is also one of the harshest environments in Europe. In winter, temperatures can drop below -22 degrees Fahrenheit, with strong winds, thin air, and extremely high UV radiation due to the great altitude. Therefore, only a few creatures can survive here. Among them are the snowfinch, bearded vulture, tiny insects, along with moss and lichens clinging to rocks. Although life is very scarce, the perpetual snow and glacier zone is extremely important for all of Europe. The Alpine glaciers store enormous amounts of fresh water and supply water to major rivers such as the Rhine River, the Rhone River, the Po River, and the Danube River. Despite being freezing and almost devoid of life, the perpetual snow zone possesses overwhelming beauty and power. It is the place where humans most clearly feel their own smallness before the immense forces of the Alps. For millions of years, the Alps were a wild world shaped by ice and snow, freezing winds, and natural evolution. But in just the last century or so, humans have become the force changing the Alps faster than any natural factor before. Today, the greatest conflict in the Alps is no longer between predator and prey. It is the confrontation between human development and the wildlife of these mountains. One of the clearest symbols of this change is the cable car system spread across the Alps. Hundreds of modern cable lines carry tourists to high peaks where only golden eagles or Alpine ibex once lived. Every year, millions of people flock to the Alps for skiing, mountaineering, and vacations. This brings enormous economic benefits to Switzerland and many European countries. At the same time, however, it creates ever-increasing pressure on nature. Noise from cable cars and tourism disturbs many large birds of prey. Roads, structures, and resorts fragment the natural habitats of wild animals. Along with this is the rapid development of ski resorts. Many forests and high mountain meadows have been converted into ski slopes, hotels, and parking lots. Artificial lighting at night also disrupts the activity of many nocturnal animals. In particular, to maintain the tourist season as natural snow decreases, many resorts must produce large-scale artificial snow. This process consumes vast amounts of water and energy. Climate change is transforming the Alps faster than ever. Glaciers that existed for thousands of years are now melting at a record pace. The Lynx glacier, the largest in the Alps, has shrunk significantly over the past century, and the rate of melting continues to accelerate. As the perpetual ice disappears, rock faces become less stable, leading to increased risks of rockfalls, landslides, and changes in the flow of Europe's major rivers. But it is not only ice and snow that are vanishing. The Alpine forests are also being fragmented by highways, railways, residential areas, and tourist developments. Forests that were once connected are now broken into many small, isolated patches. This makes it difficult for wild animals to move between feeding grounds, breeding sites, and shelters. The natural migration corridors of the gray wolf, Eurasian lynx, red deer, and Alpine ibex are gradually shrinking or being completely blocked. Many animals in the Alps already live in very harsh environments. Now, they must also face the extremely rapid rate of change caused by humans. Golden eagles are losing quiet areas for nesting and hunting. Eurasian lynx and gray wolves struggle to move through areas filled with roads and settlements. Chamois and Alpine ibex are being pushed out of many familiar slopes by skiing and tourism activities. Meanwhile, rock ptarmigans and alpine marmots are directly affected by reduced snow cover and rising temperatures. Species that once adapted perfectly to the Alps now face two pressures at once: a changing climate and the relentless expansion of humans. The greatest conflict in the Alps today is no longer just the survival hunt between predators and prey. It is the question of the future of the entire mountain range. Will humans continue to exploit the Alps for tourism and economic development at any cost? Or will we accept the necessary limits to preserve one of Europe's most precious wild ecosystems? If you enjoy wild nature exploration journeys like this, please hit like and subscribe to the channel to support us in creating more quality content. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Who knows? The next story of the wild may begin with your own idea.